Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Hunter Bad Blood. It's been a month since our last game, so I apologize that we missed some. Life got in our way. However, I'm looking forward to gaming with everyone who could make it tonight. Sid will not be joining us to be the infamous Raymond Shepard this evening. However, we wish Sid well as he as he enjoys family life and stuff. Hey Bleak, thanks for tuning in tonight. Hey Raven, hey Stacy, and everyone else that's chatted is on the screen with me. So why don't we do some introductions as far as that goes. Let's start with, Carly, we're going to start with you because thanks so much for last night's game. Always appreciated. If you have missed our Daggerheart games, they're Friday nights. Tune in at 8 p.m. Hi, Carly.
Hi, yes, I run Daggerheart here on this channel, and we've recently restarted up. The players enjoyed the game, so we've decided to continue and settle down into more of what I normally do and less of the I'm gonna kill you. But I still might kill them. But it's fine. Otherwise, I make dice and play games, and I am excited to play my little badass middle school teacher.
That's right. Who would you like to popcorn it on over to?
Let's pop it over to Ryan.
Hi, yeah, I'm Ryan. I enjoy playing games here, and that's all there is to know about me. I'm a pretty boring person. I'm playing Diego, who I'm excited to dive into his backstory a little bit today, and I will popcorn over to Ed.
Hey, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, my name is Ed. This evening I'll be playing the ex-policeman Billy Gray. A month feels like far too long since we had a chance to do this, so I'm happy to be back and get up to some more shenanigans. You can occasionally find me on Twitch at Neuromaster, but otherwise I'm here playing whenever I can make it work. So yeah, Jason, take it away.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm here playing lots of games too whenever I can, in the Daggerheart game and this, obviously. Tonight I'll be playing Peter, aka Alex, a little pyromaniac, paranoid hunter who wants to get rid of some vampires. And then I guess over to Jeremy.
I guess. I mean, we could toss it over to Sid, but we'd have to wait 2 more weeks to hear back from him. So I guess I'll go ahead and take it away and say that we're going to do a short recap, some broad strokes. This group has come together. Mari and Billy and Peter are a hunter cell. They seek out the things that go bump in the night and tend to make them disappear for the betterment of the world, at least as far as they know. And recently they had received some intel that vampires, which are real, had been having some kind of ongoing happenings at a small club called the Red Door in... Oh, now I forgot what town you're all in. I always forget.
Santa Cruz.
Thank you. I'm like, it's not the Lost Boys town, but it is the Lost Boys town.
It is the last one. We decided that on purpose.
Right. Going to this club, you had all realized that there was definitely something weird going on in investigating. The DJ seemed to have this guy in a possum helmet that was acting weird. So Mari was really focused on figuring out what the lowdown was with that. However, while that was going on, Billy and Peter had realized that the bartender, this Raymond Shepard fellow, had followed a group of people out back there was some kind of scuffle going on, and going to investigate, you would realize that 3 vampires had convinced not only some of the club goers, but also one of the bartenders to go outside, and they were feasting upon them. As one of them attempted to feast on Raymond, he started to melt and disintegrate as though he were in the sun. Raymond promptly fell unconscious. Dispatching the rest of the vampires, you had all fled the scene after making sure those who had survived were safe and taken care of. You had taken Raymond to Mari's apartment to kind of keep an eye on him, make sure his health was, I guess, intact. My English is good this evening, so I apologize already. You had watched over him, Mari, as the night passed, and when he woke in the morning, seemed fairly okay. The effect that caused his unconscious time had passed, but it had kind of muddled with his memory. He didn't remember exactly what had happened, and therefore he woke up with some confusion in a stranger's apartment. You had not pushed the issue and let him go. As he left, Billy was in the living room reading a romance novel that was called... What is it, Carly?
War of Temptation.
War of Temptation. Coming soon to a bookstore near you. As he left, you had all kind of been concerned about what was going to happen with him, that his maybe unique ability had put him in some headlights of those who could harm him. There's also the thought of, if there's this fellow who is resistant to vampire bites, whose very blood may be a weapon that can be used against him, there's the chance you could weaponize this. And so a lot of thoughts had kind of crossed your minds, and meeting up, you'd found out that a third party, one that Peter had formerly worked with, one Amelia, a hunter that was in Peter's former cell, now works for Onryo, a kind of a corporate entity, as far as you know, that does sorry, what's the word that I was going for here? Crisis mitigation is what they call it. And they had swooped in and taken Raymond off screen as far as the rest of you goes. We had seen this as viewers, and we met Diego, or D. Navarro, who was Amelia's kind of right-hand person in this effort that they were making to get Raymond Shepard to join them in testing his abilities. There was footage that came from a camera nearby that had caught what had happened, and even though Peter had done his best to try and scrub all evidence, it was definitely left behind. The group found out about all of this, and during a conversation at the local IHOP, you all came together to find out that Raymond had actually signed up with Amelia's group. He had decided to go ahead and find out what was going on with himself, and she wants you all to move in with her strike force to essentially test his abilities, to test Raymond's abilities in a safe environment. Doing a bit of reconnaissance, or rather fact-checking, she was able to find a fairly limited, there's a bowling alley that essentially acts as a safe house for vampires that are moving through the area or need to hide. So you'd all decided to move on that and use it as a method of testing Raymond's abilities without putting him into true danger. Although you're not 100% sure of what to expect in this bowling alley, as you're currently sitting outside of. The day is growing long. Totally sus. The day is growing long. The sun will be setting in the next hour or so. It is extraordinarily hot. However, I believe most of you are sitting in the large SUV being driven by D, the air conditioning on full blast, everyone munching on packets of peanuts and drinking bottled water or whatever other goodies that they had decided to take from the wet bar. I will throw out there, because Sid isn't here to mention it, Ray had decided, one, that he was going to do this, but although Amelia kind of wanted to go about this a little more scientifically and like have blood drawn from Ray and like test it in different, if you coat a bullet or a stake in his blood, does it do the same thing? If you have a syringe full of it, does it do the same thing? And Ray essentially just wants to make a vampire eat his fist with blood on it. He seemed a little irritated by everything that's been going on and wanted to maybe get some of that aggression worked out. So as the group of you are sitting outside, let me clarify, are all of you in the same vehicle? Did Peter come in the same car? Or did you come in your own van?
So I was coming in my own van because I had
That's
to go
right.
back to the workshop. I was trying to make some ordnance, which failed.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Poor bad rolling. The dice were not on your side. So what are you all
Yes.
doing?
Well, I believe I was in my car.
Okay.
Yeah, you were trailing.
Yeah, I was trailing separately.
So they've arrived at the, like, D has pulled into the parking lot. And I believe you were all just kind of staring down this building. I will say that the building itself is closed. There are no trespassing signs all over the place. There are chain link fences surrounding what looks like construction, but even a quick cursory glance at it, you can see that the construction is old. There's a large faded sign that says "Coming soon, laser tag and glow golf." There's a multi-level, essentially kind of warehousey looking addition that was going on the side that apparently the construction halted when they went out of, and then they went out of business. What do you do?
I think that Billy probably would have arrived in his own car. He would have wanted to, before the scene, take a minute or an hour to use his arsenal contacts to try to get some weaponry that would be effective against vampires for the team.
Okay. Just as a quick reminder, so Onryo was also supplying you with not only whatever weapons you were looking for within reason, like no nuclear ordinances, for example, but there was that. Also, if you were looking for like body armor, gadgets, that kind of thing, you were kind of given carte blanche, and you haven't received those things yet. You were coming here to stake things out, I believe, and I feel like there was maybe an intent to go in, but it wasn't completely decided. So if there's something that you were looking for, go ahead and just mark that you have it for now. These are loaners, unless you're getting into like very large explosives and like tanks, stuff like that. No rocket launchers.
How much do you think Billy would know about what does and doesn't work against the quarry that we're after?
I feel like the three of you, Mari and Billy and Peter, have all had a good number of run-ins with vampires. It's gotten to the point where you're starting to understand that there are also like tiers of power that go on and on top of that there are I feel like you've heard them referred to as clans. There are different clans of vampires, and some of them have different abilities comparative. These are kind of new things to you. However, for the most part, you get an idea. You have a pretty solid idea of what it takes to kill a vampire. Of the creatures in the world of darkness, vampires are the most populated in this area that you have experienced anyway. Does that answer your question?
Mostly.
Mostly.
But pretend that I don't actually know, as a player, what kills vampires.
Sure. So what gear are you looking for essentially?
Yeah.
So you do know that fire is probably the most effective straight out damaging thing that will destroy a vampire. That isn't always the case, you've heard, but so far you've not run into anything that says otherwise. You know that driving stakes through their heart does not kill them. That is a myth. However, it does render them paralyzed. There is a strong suspicion, because I feel like you haven't seen this, that daylight, you've definitely been told that daylight is quite deadly to vampires. And you've definitely seen Peter's explosives do some pretty amazing things to vampire bodies. There's a lot of the religious side of things, crosses, holy water, all of that have been hit or miss, you have found.
Gotcha.
Like incendiary rounds, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's good against vampires.
Good old Willie P.
Or a Molotov cocktail, but
well, if it's possible, she's this middle school science teacher. Could she have access to magnesium powder?
I'm going to have you do a roll for this, because I feel like this is a thing that you could get through the school, but you'd have to do it, like, carefully, so as not to draw attention. You're like, I just get it in bulk. You know, there might be some...
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about a lot, but, you
Right.
know, magnesium powder, when comes in contact with water, goes fire.
The other thing I wanted to bring up is that I have the team requisition perk for my arsenal edge. So if Mari was telling me what she needed, I would be trying to help procure that for her.
Yeah, I feel
Well,
like...
I think that's a thing that she would try to have a small supply of on hand, just in general, whether that's like skimming off the top at school or getting it from Billy.
Sure. Mari, why don't you do a manipulation subterfuge? And we'll kind of see what you have as far
Are you
as...
sure?
Yeah. We'll see what you kind of have
That's
as...
one dice.
It's going to be amazing.
Can it be stealth instead?
No, stealth is more like moving around, being stealthy, whereas this is like you were falsifying records to get stuff sent to your school as...
No, it's used in an experiment.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I did that I did in high school. But
Yeah. And this is where Billy's edge comes in to help out a lot of things for what you aren't able to get through the school. This role is really to find out what you have on hand right now from your job.
Well, I rolled one success with my
Okay.
one dice.
if you were going into an event like what you did last night, where you went to the Red Room and there was like a couple of vampires and stuff, you'd feel pretty comfortable with the amount of supplies that you have right now. However, going into this completely unknown situation, you'd feel better having more. And so this is where Billy's Edge is going to come in. Do you have to roll anything for that, Mr. Gray?
Yes, I think it says for... where is it? Those who rely on contacts, which is me, test manipulation and streetwise.
Okay. Make it so.
That would be 3 successes.
Perfect. How much of this, and we'll use this as well, like for Mari's magnesium, but also if there's anything else that anyone wanted and didn't want to get it through Onryo.
I know for Billy, he wants a small bundle of flashbangs and Molotovs for himself.
Sure. Totally within that role's purview. Peter, is there anything else that you needed?
I mean, Peter's not really a good combat guy, so
Also, as a player asking this, is silver effective against vampires, or is that just werewolves?
I want to say yes. And until I find out otherwise, we're going to go with yes.
Then I would ask, is it possible that like her standard equipment would include a pair of silvered brass knuckles? Well, not brass, but silvered knuckles, because she hits things with her fists.
Totally, yeah. You have certainly run into success previously using silvered items. However, there is rumor through the Hunter network that you've heard people also have not. They've been kind of left high and dry when relying on silver. So I feel like that is in the back of your mind, that maybe don't rely on it.
I think it's just like a standard thing that she, instead of just straight fists, she
Totally
uses her knuckles.
At this point, D just takes everything from the company because he's a company man.
Yeah. Is there anything that D needs, like that you would? And this is all being delivered fairly soon. You did all like kind of just drive here from your meeting, and so essentially you would put the requisition in, and it would be delivered to you, like an Amazon drone just flies over and.
I think that maybe like, and I think that there's like specific scopes, like a scope that you can get that like can detect. Well, I mean, I guess like a heat sensor, right, on a scope like night vision. But I think that I think I was reading that there's like a developed a special scope. I don't know if they would have that. Oh, never mind. It's much bigger than that. Yeah, no, just like typical like night vision gear, body armor, and like a assault kit, basically.
Okay.
And maybe like a small plastic explosive to blow open a door.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's doable. Totally.
Okay.
On the way over, I'm stopping at Walmart and getting some Play-Doh and a Sharpie and making like a fake C4.
What color is it?
So C4, it's normally like lightish orange,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
So what color is the Play-Doh? Because I don't know if they have C4 colored Play-Doh.
I'm not sure.
Are
I
you
will
like
try to match it effectively.
okay?
I don't know what
Your
colors.
primary colored Play-Doh.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be a good time. So Diego,
Yes.
you're sitting in this vehicle, enjoying the air conditioning, looking at like the heat waves rising off of the parking lot around you, listening to people talk in the vehicle and on cell phones and such, planning things out. And every so often you glance up in your rearview mirror and you look at this guy, Raymond Shepard. He hasn't recognized you yet, which is maybe not a big deal. It's not necessarily good, it's not necessarily bad. You've been in the room with him on a few occasions in your past, but he doesn't seem to remember that. And for your previous job doing intelligence work for the government, the army, it's probably a good thing he doesn't remember you. It means you were doing your job well. You haven't experienced in your own time in this company that you work for, Onryo, and even in the things that you investigated for the government previously, you haven't really seen in person like vampires. You know they exist because there's enough facts that you've been shown that they exist, and there's been enough interactions with the follow-up, the cleanup of certain situations that they exist. You know that werewolves exist. There's data sheets and, you know, all of these files that you've read both in your previous job and at Onryo. But like, you're thinking back to the first time you saw this guy. You're in Afghanistan and there was an event, and you were sitting in a similarly very well air-conditioned room, whereas a lot of the area around in the complex that you had visited had like fans and maybe some light AC units. Like, you're in a very controlled room. There are a lot of computers running around you, and you have monitors that are showing these various debriefing rooms. These aren't interview chambers. They're not supposed to be used for people that are like in trouble. They're not being arrested. It's where, like, after something happens, whatever member of the unit that needs to be interviewed, they're brought in to just debrief, right? They're not necessarily going to be recorded on camera as far as they know. And you're watching all of these people as there's a camera that shows a motor pool. There are several trucks that have brought in body bags from this unit that's been wiped out, except for this one fellow who's sitting in interview room number 3. He seems to be fairly agitated. He's like bouncing a pencil with its eraser. He's kind of bouncing it back and forth. Doesn't have a scratch on him. He seems completely okay, other than his agitation. And as you're watching, you see these body bags being taken into it's their morgue. It's where they store the bodies. It's probably the only other room in this complex. It's as cold as the one you're in. And you see the body bags being zipped open, and just like the remnants of these people that are left. Some bags are obvious as they set them down that the parts inside are no longer connected. They're just kind of pieces of people. And you see somebody move into the interview room, and so you reach forward and push a button to listen. And as this interview goes on, you're reading through this file that you have, that you've brought with you, because this isn't the first time something like this has happened with this Raymond Shepard fellow, where things have gone wrong for his troop, for whatever group he was in, and for him to make it through as the only survivor, or the only one to not be severely injured. Looking at his health records, he doesn't seem to have ever been sick. You can't find anything that shows that he's had a sniffle or a cough. He never had any of his like childhood eye checks and all of those things that you do when you're in school, checking for scoliosis and all that. Everything always came back normal. As you're watching this, is there anything that comes to your mind as far as what you would have done?
What was I would well flag his I'd flag his account or his file again. Where is he stationed?
As far as
Like, where is he where is he stationed? Where where is he gonna sleep tonight? Where's his bunk?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so there's like a barracks, and there was like for his unit, they had like their own area that they slept in and everything. Several rooms that were set aside for them. Probably in there, although he'll be the only resident until a new team is selected to move in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna call one of my, another person on my unit, and oh man, I gotta figure out. Yeah, well, let's see. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send basically one of my compatriots to the infirmary to get a swab of someone who's sick with something, and I'm going to put it like on his canteen.
Gotcha.
Something like mild, like not like, but maybe something like dysentery, right? Where it's like he probably is going to be out of commission for several days anyways, and so if he's on the shitter for a couple days, like that sucks for him, but like it's not going to kill him, hopefully. And I'm a spook, so I don't really give a shit, I guess.
Okay. So yeah, you order this, and as you're waiting for it, there's a knock on the door. A younger fellow comes in. You're not that old, but you just feel like you've seen more action than, like you've seen more of what makes the world tick than a lot of the people who are in the field, who just kind of see like the violence. And so he comes in, and you just kind of accept the small hard drive that he hands you. Plugging it in, it opens up the body cam footage from the mission that this unit went on. And reviewing it, it's difficult to see exactly what happened. It's all so chaotic and hectic. There are figures, there are creatures that they ran into in this village that they had gone to investigate. That they had been sent because there was a small, sorry, the word isn't there. Not even like a base, just like a small collection of soldiers that were there kind of keeping an eye on things and reporting back to this base. And it had gone silent a couple of days ago, and so they were dispatched to go investigate. And as you watch, you see them like leave their vehicles. They go in, they're investigating, they're finding blood, they're finding viscera, they're finding torn clothing and bits of things, but not people. And then as they moved in deeper, they found caves under the area, and going down into there, that's when everything went to shit. And this is where things get a little interesting, because it's like wherever Ray was, the action was not. So they didn't all go as like one unit. They kind of spread out, and until the people that went with him kind of left to go figure things out, they seemed to be fairly calm, quiet. There was nothing going on wherever they were. They could hear gunfire, and they were obviously worried, but there was nothing was attacking them, and wherever Ray led them seemed safe. And you're watching this video essentially show that he moved through all of this unscathed. Nothing ever even came around the corner at him. There was no sign or anything. And on everyone else's cameras, as they got separated from him, there are these creatures that show up. They seem to be fur covered. There's snarling, there's roaring, but it's so chaotic, it's so violent that it's hard to see what it was. The official report says that there were insurgents in the area, and they had planted explosives. But obviously that's a cover-up, and you're looking at what truly happened. And there is this question, and it's the same question that was brought up in previous encounters that Ray had gone through, of how did this happen, and was Ray involved? Did he know this was going to happen? He led these people this way. What would you do with this information at this point?
I would probably... I mean, I would be... trying to split my attention, right? Like, first, I'm trying to focus on him, and if there's an interviewer, when an interviewer goes in, like, through kind of the typical debriefing, I definitely want to be, like, focusing on that, you know, on that conversation. But in the meantime, like, I really kind of want to sort out if there was a point, like, okay, so whoever was with him seemed to be safe, and obviously there was some kind of movement of personnel in and around him, where like people were safe and then were no longer safe. How did he get? Like, I would be really trying to pinpoint like points of transition to look at, like, and notice, like, was he an active participant in, like, oh, you go over there, or like, was it like seeing if I could find a link of culpability where there could be the fact that he's a traitor or mole,
right?
But yeah, so I'd be that's what I'd be scrubbing the tape for.
Okay.
And then, you know, I would be sending this, you know, obviously all these records, you know, out encrypted for analysis, like back stateside with better computers. I think it's probably also pretty important that I take some time to stop all the computers from running around. Because you said that all the computers were running around in this room, so I want to make sure that
it's chaos. They're just like, wee, yay!
No, jokes aside, yeah, I think that's what I would be focused on.
Yeah. So after you get the computer party to calm down and, you know, make them all sit quietly, Why don't we do a wits insights check?
Okay. With and insight. That is 2 successes.
Okay. So, one, you do find, whereas, so, a couple of things. One, in the previous events that had happened, he was found to be culpable as far as fault goes. However, in the documentation that you're going through, it has been unresolved. There is still a question mark going on. Watching the video as you're trying to decipher what's going on, it's very difficult for you to kind of get any sense of intent. But you do ever so often, it's not like every time he makes a decision on which way to go, but it's almost like he stops and listens for a second before deciding to go down a certain direction. You're not hearing any chatter on the radios that are being recorded by the cameras that you have, and like they're tied into their radios and all of that. So what he's hearing, you don't know. Could it be another person? Absolutely.
I'm gonna what kind of so this equipment that in these debriefing rooms, the camera, are they just straight up cameras, or is there any way? I really want to be looking for trace, frequencies being emitted from him.
Gotcha. Yeah, so there would be like
yeah.
bug sweepers and all that, and there's also like different filters that they have on the camera footage coming through, so you can like flip through heat signatures and kind of keeping an eye on different things like that. And so it's very, even though it seems pretty innocuous when you're on that side of this room, like inside this room you realize how very much, I don't want to say insidious it is, but like how very they very much wanted to know every little bit of information that they could out of events that came out of. You've also, I'm just going to throw this out there, you also have heard that this area has been known for random strange events happening, and so this isn't necessarily something that happens at all bases that this military arm has, but it
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I will be. Yeah. I mean, I think the problem with like something like a heat signature is that it's, it would have to be like, the thing would either have to be very hot or very cold to stand out against like the normal typical body heat. But I'm really going to be looking for like any sort of like, again, like any frequencies, radio, any other over air frequencies to see. And particularly, I'm going to be trying to look for that tell in any conversation that's occurring. If an interrogator is going to go in, I'm going to kind of I'm going to request that I have an ability to kind of speak to the interrogator.
Right. Yeah. They have like little earbuds that you can't see. Yeah. That you can. There's a mic in here that you can speak into, and
I'm gonna just throughout the process, I'm gonna try and get the interrogator to see if I can't get him to a state that would be like, that would basically get Ray agitated, and see if there's a moment where kind of like give him an opportunity to use whatever tool he's using to kind of know, like it, like either get him to like confess, like that sort of like get him into that elevated danger sense state, and really probably do that by trying to press all his buttons.
Gotcha.
I'm not doing it. The interrogator is. So
Why don't you roll 3d10 for me? Tell me how many successes you get.
I got 4 successes
Nice.
on 3d10. Yeah.
Fantastic. So it does take a bit because it seems like they know each other as he goes in and he sits down. The guy who sits across from Ray, there's a bit of camaraderie that starts off there. And so it takes a little bit for him to kind of break through that and get him to a more agitated state. And as Ray finally gets to that point where he's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to blame this on me? And that kind of response, you never do see. Actually, I'm going to have you roll. It's insight.
What's insight? 3 successes.
Nice. You never see that tell that you were looking for. If anything, you notice that Ray has a sense of responsibility that's kind of weighing on him, that you get the feeling it's like Survivor's Guild. He's not sure how he made it through what happened without a scratch, whereas his entire team was wiped out.
After it becomes pretty clear that like he's been agitated and seeing the Survivor's Guild and the PTSD, essentially, I'm gonna call the guy off.
Okay.
And get the good cop in, right? Get like a counselor trying to help deal with the PTSD, like the trauma of it all.
Okay.
Because we need our soldiers to be sane to fight.
Yeah.
We don't care about them after they go.
So you end up like, okay, who am I hearing echo from?
It might be me.
Darn you. You calm down the interrogator, tell him to kind of switch tactics, get everything kind of moving in a more positive way. And thought crosses your mind. And you're not really sure what the outcome will be or when you'll find out. But you make a note in his file for the eyes of those who are able to see this level of security and through this level of red tape, to have that person, that that counselor, that person who's, sorry, hang on a second. That person who's going to be working with him to, kind of get him back in the field and everything and be useful, to do that, but also to lean into his feelings. And when you say that, when you write it down, it's like your intuitions. Lean into that and you mark him for promotion. That the next time he goes out with the team, he's going to be leading the team rather than kind of being the grunt that's told where to go and or what to do. And so you watch for a while longer. You go and you place the Ebola virus or whatever it is that you found on his canteen. You dip his toothbrush in some I forgot what you were saying earlier. The
dysentery,
dysentery,
pilot,
right?
yeah.
And so now, back in the vehicle, you're in this SUV staring at him through, or in the rearview mirror. You're remembering back the files that you have seen most recently on him were actually through Onryo, who has essentially government contracts that they are able to connect to databases that maybe you wouldn't otherwise be able to legally. Not that this is really legal, but there are workarounds that you've found Onryo can go through. And you've gone over Ray's papers again, or his files, and you saw that every mission he did after that was a success. There was no loss of life when it comes to his team. There was always something that happened that he was able to steer them away from. And so that weird feeling of whether or not you can trust this guy, if he's a mole for like some other government or some, you know, some other organization, it still sits in your stomach, but you're not, it doesn't clench quite the way it used to when you first were investigating him. You don't have quite the authority that you used to working for Onryo, but there is a sense of I'm not sure how I want to put this. Sorry. There's a sense of irony that this file crossed your path again and that you've been put on it because you didn't even request this. This was Amelia actually requested you to be put on this. And so it's kind of an ironic moment that you're sitting in this vehicle staring at him through the rearview mirror and having this recollection of your past, of him never having really noticed you. You were in the same room with him on a few occasions, passing by when he was released from interrogation and stuff like that. You wanted to like actually look him in the eye, and it just hasn't quite. He doesn't seem to remember you. Like he doesn't.
Cool. I'll ask him what he thinks we should do.
He says you should mute your mic again because I can hear my audio. That's weird that something changed that made that happen.
That is weird. I don't know what happened.
So he kind of startles, like he was completely not paying attention to what you're doing. And he looks around and, oh man, I'm just gonna see what happens. It's gonna make him. Trying to think of how Sid phrased it. Sorry, but essentially, you get the feeling he just wants to like go full bore, and you can see. I'm gonna give you do another wits insight. And on top of whatever you roll, you're going to have an automatic success.
With the automatic, it's 5.
Nice. You get the feeling that he is aware that things have been weird in his life. And this is just kind of a culmination of that. And you can see that energy just wanting to get free, of wanting to find out what the fuck is going on. It's probably the only reason that he decided to go with you instead of telling everyone to fuck off in that diner.
Okay.
As Diego has been staring off into space, the rest of you have been preparing. Conversations may have happened, and I feel like maybe Peter had something he wanted to say.
So Peter was going to park a little ways away from the bowling alley, like look on Google Maps for some shut down business or something nearby where he could park, and try to get the drone up just to get a good view on this bowling alley, number of exits, etc., so that we have some idea of what we're looking at here.
Sure. How far away are you willing to go?
I mean, if I need to go miles, sure.
Okay. Go ahead and do a intelligence. Streetwise?
Okay,
Sorry, just trying to think of what's going to be the best.
that's fine. And this probably falls under my desperation die to use, right?
Sure.
Four successes.
Excellent. Fairly locally, you're able to find a small restaurant that has been like 5 different restaurants in like 5 different businesses in the last year and a half that finally closed down like a month and a half ago. It's not like a derelict old building, but hanging out at it, you don't think there would be a lot of eyes on you or anything.
Okay.
What else?
What do I see? Taking a look, running the drone through it.
So are you sending the drone from here over to it?
Yeah,
Gotcha. I thought you
yeah.
were
I
going
didn't
to
want to be
it.
parked. No, I didn't want to be parked in the bowling alley, like, and setting off other alarms. Like, hey, there's a bunch of vehicles out here, in case they have other people watching it.
Right. That's okay. So let me just verify, because you want to drive over to this other building
Yes,
and send your drones over to the bowling alley.
exactly.
Perfect. While you're doing that, are you having anyone else do any, like, are you having them stay there? Or are you having them go with you?
I was alone at this point. I
Okay.
haven't caught up with the others yet.
Gotcha. So this is prior to meeting up with them. Perfect.
Exactly.
As your drones skim over the area, you see this building that looks like, from your angle, the part that's over what was going to be that addition doesn't even have like the roof completed. You can see like this kind of ramshackle collapsed area. The rain probably has just decimated what's inside. You see 3 vehicles outside, I believe. There should be the SUV, Mari's car, and Billy's car. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And then beyond that, go ahead and do a wits streetwise for me.
Wits and Streetwise. Okay. I'm assuming this also counts as stealth / scouting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're kind of trying to determine the things that you see, what they mean.
I think I'm going to use one of my auto successes
Nice.
that
Use
were
them up.
passed out as well.
You only have like 72 of them.
With the auto success 6.
Nice. You do see signs that there are coming and goings from this building. Like, you can see how trash has been moved away from the back door. There also is an area in the chain link fence that you can see a path has been made that goes into the construction area, which connects to the main bowling alley building. Looks like there's a couple different egresses for the building that people are using. You don't see any signs of people other than your cohorts in the vehicles. Every so often somebody will walk down the sidewalk or a car will drive by, but you don't see anyone moving around the building. Are you using any other, is this just straight video footage, or is there any kind of, okay.
Yeah, I don't have any special cameras on the drone or anything.
You do see fans turning and the AC units on the ceiling.
Okay, so it's got power.
And I think that's pretty much everything that you'd glean from what you've been looking through.
Okay. All right, I'll go catch up with the others, I guess, since we already got 3 there. 4 probably not going to attract any more attention.
Okay. So you've all been sitting there for about half an hour when Peter's vehicle pulls up. You're all together now. What's the plan?
I'll get out, roll over to them. I'll explain what I saw. They have quite an exit out of the back, actually, with that construction area and the walls being down, right? So, like, easy flee out of that back area, correct? Based on what I saw?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I still don't think this is a great idea, attacking this bowling alley directly.
I've been saying that the whole time.
I'd like to use it, like, track creatures from it. Like, if we know they're using this thing, follow them out of it, see if they meet others.
Real quick, is this conversation happening as a trio of the 3 of you, or is this also including Diego and Ray?
I include all of them as far as I know.
Okay.
We're all here, right?
So Ray's like, what's the problem? There's some bloodsucker in there. You want to know if my blood's going to do the thing? Let's just find out.
Well, there might be more than one, but more importantly, if we attack this place, it's no longer going to be useful.
It's not doing anything for me.
Well, it'll help us find other vampires to kill.
I
If
mean,
we
why
leave-
couldn't you just like plant? I mean, it's not like these other vampires are necessarily going to know that it's been raided if we do it right.
Well,
And
depending on how it goes, we can always attempt to keep a minimalist footprint, but this is fucking vampires. And if there's more than one, or they get the drop on us somehow, like, sorry, I'm gonna save myself without care for the building.
I do feel like there was a momentary flashback there. Diego brings this up of, we could just do this if we do it right. Mari thinks back to last night, the burning vampire running screaming across the rooftop before collapsing in a pile of burning flesh, the exploding vampire that had run off down the... and you're like, yeah,
all
that's
I'm
not going to
gonna
happen.
say is the one that Mari took care of was off camera. So
That is
she
true.
did a good job.
I said if we do it right, and I know that you're some middle school science teacher, but I wouldn't maybe trust that you're going to necessarily do it right. You need some
What's
professional.
that supposed to mean?
She's pretty damn good.
I'm sure you're great at what you do.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's a compliment.
Doesn't sound like it. Tone is very important, as I tell all of my students. You can say all the right things, but if
I'm
the
not one of
tone
your
isn't
students. You don't
there,
need
it's
to-
not gonna. It's not. Well, it sounds like you need some human interaction. So
She tells that to me, too.
What if we wanted to do some science?
I'm all about science.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind trying to catch one and, start experimenting and see what happens. I was just saying this place could be valuable for us to get other targets later.
I was thinking about trying a Trojan horse that I wouldn't do on a place that was more dangerous. But if we feel like we have this on lock, there's something I've been wondering.
Well, like I said,
Well,
they've got a really easy escape route through the back.
shouldn't we? I don't know. Try and figure out how many vampires are in there, because we're assuming it's an easy target, but we don't actually know what's in there right now.
Didn't your friend, the lady who brought me in on this, didn't she say there was like a vampire there?
Yes. She's not a friend. She did not show us any
Don't-
proof.
Not
of
your
this.
friend,
She
his
just
friend.
said-
And he
Yeah,
points
that's
to
all the
Diego.
intelligence that we have is one vampire.
Yeah, but where is this intelligence coming from? Can I see it? Can I see your reports and the scouting? And
I'll show
how
her
old
the
is that
reports.
information?
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Yeah, he shows you a fairly recent report. It is like a week old, but essentially kind of goes back. You can flip through ongoing reports of tracking vampires that have come and gone in here. It is interesting that it's not no action has been taken against these vampires. It's more of just reconnaissance stuff. And the last time anyone knew, there was a vampire inside.
Well, okay, I appreciate you providing the information. I would feel better if we did some sort of small scout.
So I was thinking about walking in the front door. The
Doing what?
Like just you?
I mean, me, Mari, D, probably not Peter. No offense, buddy.
I'm not walking through anything.
Obviously.
What if there's just one bloodsucker in there, odds are he
If.
doesn't know any of us. I've been wondering, can they recognize each other? If I show up and I say, hey, I'm the latest spooky bloodsucker, just rolled in from Reno, and somebody told me, hey, if you come here and pay your respects, you're not going to get in trouble with the local mosquitoes. Are they just going to like laugh and bare their fangs and try to do me as a snack, or can they not tell us from them? If there was 50 in there, I wouldn't want to find out. But if there's just one, I trust you guys to have my back.
Peter, could you tell me a little more about this, I guess, back door?
Well, part of the roof is collapsed in the back. Looks like there was some construction that was going to be going on. Walls gone. They're still pumping AC in there though, which is odd with the roof being missing and all that. You can see the fans running on the roof.
Is it open? Is there cover?
Yeah.
Would it be something that we could enter that way as well?
Quite possibly. More than, it could be dangerous. I don't know how strong the rest of that roof is. At least part of it's collapsed. But like if you had a good rope, you could probably tie it off up there and climb down.
Okay,
What
so
if
the
The
exit
Walking
is on the
Dead need
roof, not
AC
just
for?
in the back.
I don't know what they got the fans going for. And yes. But like we saw the other day, they can move pretty fast upwards. So,
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to put my mental.
oh yeah.
Just to clarify, so there's like essentially a long rectangular building with a much larger squarish, as you're looking down at square shape building. That was the addition. The addition has like the collapsed roof, and there is a door in the back that essentially goes into the bowling alley section. It does look like there was traffic on both of those. So if you wanted to go in at ground level, then going through the back door. If you wanted to go in through the ceiling, then going through the addition, which seems to be attached, but since you couldn't really see, like from the angle you're at now and even above, you don't see where that attachment is and what kind of completion as far as construction goes. So it could be completely separated, but you didn't get that feeling.
Okay.
Okay. So, I guess my question is, what's the plan. Because I will go in to assist if people are planning on going in, because I know, and she kind of glances over at D, I know that I am helpful and useful, especially in getting people out of bad situations. But we don't know what we're walking into. I mean, yes, we have some intel that is about a week old that says that there's one vampire in here. But your intel indicates to me that these are vampires that are being tracked. What about unknown vampires that have been using this facility without notice? We don't know who's in there. We don't know if this is a transitory place or just a transitory place for some vampires and a holdout for others.
With it being what's the temperature like outside, the ambient temperature now?
It is very hot, even with the sun setting in probably 45 minutes. It is still in the hundreds. The the low 100s, not the 200s or 300s.
Yeah, I mean, we aren't going to be able to get really any heat information from inside with things the way that they are outside. But if we're going to do something, then wouldn't it make sense to do it before the sun sets?
Well, I'd say we watch it tonight and hit it. If we were going to hit this place, I'd say you hit it in the morning when the sun comes up, so you have the whole time.
Okay.
That's a big if, but
So let me tell you the version of this where everything goes perfectly. So I strut in there. Y'all do the best that you can to keep eyes on me. D, Peter, I don't know if you have any widgets for that. Worst case, you hear flashbangs going off for more than 5 minutes past, something happened. But this is the version where everything's going okay, right? I go in there, I introduce myself as some bootlicking newbie who's been told to come here and show his respect to the local vampires. I tell him that as a token of my respect, I have a delicacy back in the van. I have some local trust fund kid, this blue blood, who is just going to be the tastiest thing ever. And that's my gift to you, for you to make an introduction. Bring him back out here, and then see how he deals with Raymond. That was the whole thing we're doing here. But and if he comes out just by himself, 5-on-1, I like those odds. That's the version where everything goes perfectly.
I think if he walks out and there's 3 vehicles out here, might be a little concerned.
Yeah, that's a solvable problem.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be interesting if it worked, but again, that assumes there's one.
I mean, we could watch this all night, and there could be no one that comes in or out, and we could think that there is one, and there could be still 50, and I mean, like, listen, I'm all for gathering intelligence, trust me, but I also know that often the best course of action is a rapid one.
What do you have in mind?
Nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
I mean, we could just burn the thing down. No, why wouldn't we just go in and... Okay, so I understand that there is some desire to maybe use this as a launch point to find other vampires. It seems to me that maybe finding other vampires is less important than figuring out if we have the golden goose over here that is nuking it from orbit, and what we can do.
The golden goose, really?
How
I'm
are we going
sorry.
to find out if Ray is for real by firebombing the place?
I'm not suggesting we firebomb the place. I'm suggesting we just go in. Just go in
Well, and then
heavy.
what? What does heavy mean? I'm not
Go
saying
in
no,
and-
but paint me a picture.
I mean, I'll go in by myself.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
just
seem wise. What do you know if you can survive getting bit more than once? If 5 of them bite you in there and you die,
You
Well,
almost died last
That's why you're
time.
here, right?
You still haven't even fully recovered. That was my whole argument, is that we should be waiting for you to recover. But we all know that I already got voted off at that point. So right now, I'm here to support whatever decision ends up being made, even though I don't agree with it.
I mean, I feel fine. And
You were in a coma last night. You're not fine.
I mean, this is why your girl Amelia brought me on, right? To find out what's going on.
Once again, you're saying our girl, and I'm not a fan.
Your boss, he gestures to Diego.
yeah, I'll shrug. I mean, I'm a man of action. I guess just how do you fucking storm a building? Like, it's not like we have 2 exits. We go in at this simultaneously, and we send Ray a little bit first, see how he does, and if it looks like he's gonna go down, then we blast the motherfucker. Like, it doesn't seem that hard.
He looks at you and says, "This is how we storm a building," and he starts walking towards the front door.
oh jeez.
I'll
Sid, I
I'll
feel like
check
I'm
my-
playing D, or Sid, I feel like I'm playing Ray the way you would, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to caveat anything that goes wrong from here on out is just a
it's your fault.
right. It's my
It's all
fault.
Sid's fault. It's Sid's fault for not being here.
I'll check my weapon and get out of the car and follow him.
Shit, I guess we're
Mari's
not
already
in this
moving.
one.
As soon as he started walking away, Mari is circling around to try and take the back entrance.
Okay, so you moving to help the situation or like cover the situation, not moving to stop. No one's moving to stop Ray from doing this.
Oh no, she already got outvoted, and as she's proven, people have their free choice. Now she's doing the best she can to mitigate whatever fucking damage is going to come out of this.
All right, so you're moving around the back. What's Billy doing?
Sneaking. Well, quickly
Totally.
sneaking around the back.
Billy's grabbing supplies and hard on Mari's tail.
Okay. And Peter.
Peter's grabbing a vest and putting it on and heading their way.
Okay. And Diego.
Yeah, I mean he's kitted out and he's gonna like flank Billy, or he's gonna go in right after, right? Like an assault. Like,
Okay.
He knows-
Since you're the one right behind him, I need you to do me a favor. Roll a d10.
I rolled a 9.
Okay.
9 vampires.
9 vampires
Appreciate it.
that are all day walkers and immune to silver and stakes are no.
But
So,
I don't think there's any vampires immune to magnesium powder. You know how hot that fire burns?
I can think of one type.
yeah, the
dead kind.
the kind I think you're thinking of, you better hope that's not what's waiting inside. But that
Hopefully no
being
Molly.
said, you follow Ray, and he gets to the front door, and it's two glass doors that have been broken out with plywood. They've been placed in the broken out areas. There are no trespassing signs, tape put up across it, but you do see signs that the tape has been like cut and then like attached to the door, so it looks like it goes across, but it doesn't actually connect. You see signs of beer bottles and drug needles and various prophylactics and stuff just kind of strewn around the area. And Ray gets to the front, he like rolls his neck, kind of bunches his shoulders, he grabs his very large knife, and goes to grab the door, which opens outward as a kind of scrawny woman, bright red, completely unnatural red hair that like the roots are obviously showing, kind of a dirty blonde hiding underneath it, squints in the sunlight and like is very surprised that there's somebody standing there. Ray is also surprised by this woman showing up, and they kind of just stare at each other for a moment. And then he says, I guess you want my blood, mother sucker. And he cuts his knuckles with his knife and punches her in the face. And that's where we're going to go to break. So we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes as we figure out what this crew is doing. So I'm trying to find the right button. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you in a few.
I was thinking 6 months when Ray dies from contaminated wounds on his knuckles.
Right.
I don't know where that knife's been.
You know, the vampire itself, he never had to fear that. His own choices, however. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We have stormed the building. A fairly small woman, looks like she's seen better days, is rather surprised as, with a resounding crack, Diego, you can hear her teeth shatter as Ray drives his bloody fist into her mouth. He looks rather pleased with himself. She looks rather surprised and kind of falls back through the door, which slowly closes behind her. What do you do, Diego?
I'm going to continue to back up Ray.
Okay. You're just gonna wait and see what he does?
Yes.
All right. He reaches forward. He grabs the door the door, the door handle, and pulls it open. You hear music coming from inside. It's kind of faint, from where you are. It sounds like it's playing over the speakers inside, but it isn't turned all the way up. It's like rockabilly playing inside. And he steps into the darkened entrance. You can't really see any light. You gonna follow him?
Yep. I think it's great because I don't know what a fucking vampire looks like. So I'll go over our speakers for the team, our little earbud speaker system that the company provided,
Yeah.
and say we've breached and one target down.
Okay. Yeah.
Like basically relaying the information. Very like clipped, terse way.
Peter, how far did you go? Like, where was your destination?
I was rolling behind Billy and Dee.
So you're going all the way around to the back door?
I thought Billy and Dee were following Raymond through the front.
Oh,
Mari
Mari and
Sorry.
Billy are going to the back. Well, Mari
Yeah.
went to the back, and Billy said that they followed me. So
Ray and Dee.
Mari and Billy went to the back.
Ray and Dee went
Ray.
to the front. Billy followed Mari.
Gotcha.
So which way do you want
I
to go?
will follow Dee because someone's got to keep an eye on him.
Okay, so the door is still like the pneumatics on it are actually working pretty well. It's still like hissing shut. You can hear inside as Ray says, "You like that? Is that what you want?" What would you like to do?
I see this little old woman, right?
Yeah, you saw
Yeah.
her, and then she disappeared rather violently back through the door.
Okay. I will roll up to her, like try to pin her legs underneath the chair,
Sure. Why don't we do a
and
roll
just
for
pull the
that?
pistol. Keep quiet. Don't let your masters know we're here.
So, if you want to essentially intimidate her
Yeah.
into staying, then go ahead and do manipulation, intimidation.
Sure. I'm not really intimidating, but I got okay manipulation. Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend also a success from one of the folks. That'll be one success.
Nice. So as you get in, you can see Ray's like looming towards her as she's scrambling backwards. She's not moving quite fast enough to get away from from the three of you, because she's with one hand gripping her like broken teeth in that hand, kind of holding them up to her mouth. Her eyes are wide, just watering.
I will also turn to Ray, like, this ain't one of them. She's probably one of their servants.
Oh yeah, Amelia said something about that. Where's your master?
Keep it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this opportunity to fan out, and I mean the whole place is shadows, but fan out and get behind cover and do like recon of the building.
Sure. Now that you're inside, you notice it's actually quite a bit cooler in here. You can hear the AC is running, and you notice that there are lights on, not in this front area, but back in the actual like lanes. You see, you know, when they do like nighttime glow bowling or whatever it's called, the blacklight bowling and all that. There's like various lights kind of like that set up. Those are on, and you can hear music playing. You can hear some voices. There's the clown car.
Every time. Every time.
We listened for it last night and didn't hear it, but there it is tonight.
I know, it was weird. It didn't come up. It usually does. It's like every day around this playtime. It comes by.
Well, thank you, clown, for joining us this evening. What do the three of you do?
Me and which three?
So yourself and Peter. I guess you can't really
And Ray.
speak for Ray, but
Yeah.
Is there like an office or anything we see nearby?
you don't see an office directly. You see there's an arcade off to your right. Looks like there's like a an island where you can see there's like shoes laying around it. It's kind of like it's maybe 20 feet wide. It's probably where like customers go up to get their shoes to go bowling, but you don't see like a business office where you are. On the left hand side, you can see there was an ATM. It's been broken open. There's some vending machines that are broken and doors that go into bathrooms.
Okay. Hey, Ray.
I'm gonna keep doing my mission, which is protect Ray.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna be at a kind of at an intercepting point, because half the mission is to protect Ray and half the mission is to see if Ray is effective as an antibody to vampires.
Right.
So I need to let him do his thing.
He does like lean over and like squeeze his hand over this lady. He's like, "Are you sure this isn't one of them?" He's like getting his blood on her. What were you saying, Jason?
I was about to say we need to gag her and shut her up.
I didn't bring anything for that. He's got like a knife. That's all he's got.
Yeah.
You take care of that. I'm going to find this vampire.
Yeah, I'm not really good at getting down and hog tying
Oh,
people.
right. You. What's your name again?
No.
No. No, go ahead and do what he said.
No. I'll like pull her aside and I guess zip tie her
Okay.
and take a. I don't have a gag either. Like
Let me see your knife a second. He'll just cut off the sleeve of his shirt, ball it up, stick it in her mouth, find something to cover it. Actually, he carries duct tape. He'll just duct tape it.
There
around
you
her
go.
mouth.
Right. You don't need a gag when you have duct tape. That should be a slogan for duct tape.
I'll make sure she can still breathe, but
I'm not
Just
sure
wrap
that's what
her
they
whole
want to be
head.
marketing for their abilities.
It's unfortunate. Peter's the only one of us that almost certainly doesn't have a sock to use.
No. On that
mean,
note,
You're not wrong.
right? In the back of the building. So as you kind of important question, did you go to the left, which is the side that has the new construction, or did you go to the right, which is probably quicker to get to that back door from where Peter explained where it was?
Quicker to the back door. She's heading in to provide backup, so whatever is going to be quickest entrance into the space, that's where she's heading, although she is doing it stealthily.
Okay, is Billy also being stealthy?
He is.
I'm gonna have you two roll some deck stealth for me.
Four successes.
Okay.
None for Billy.
Okay.
We got.
And I
some-
imagine one of the reasons for that might be that while he's trying to be stealthy, he has not had a cigarette in like a good 45 minutes.
Fair.
And he's like sort of lighting up.
Do you want to use
As
one
you-
of your? There are a bunch of advantages in the pool if you want to get a success.
I think this is funnier.
Okay. Yeah. Behind you, Mari, you can hear as there's some bottles that get kicked, and you kind of glance and you see Billy's got the jitters.
She moves to move even quicker, so that hopefully at least she can slip in unnoticed.
Right. You get to the back door. It's a metal door painted blue. It does have a handle on it. It looks like, so essentially as you move up to it, there's a area that juts out from the building and continues on. You're thinking this... Have you gone bowling before, Mari?
Yes.
This is probably an emergency exit from the back of the building, but not like the pin reset area. That's probably what you're facing, essentially, this area that sticks out. So if you go in through this door, you know you're going to essentially be stepping directly into the edge of the bowling lane part of the building. Are you going to try this door?
Yeah.
It is unlocked.
Great. Yeah, she has put her hood up so that you can't see her face,
Okay.
and has pulled on her her gloves that have the silver, small silver like spikes on her like fingerless gloves.
Totally.
And is just gonna try and quietly. Okay, so are the hinges on? So I understand where this door is placed. She's gonna try and do her best to like open the door as small as possible and
Right.
like duck to the side where she believes like she could duck behind where the pin settings.
Right. Yeah, that was going to be
Where that area is.
my assumption, but I was going to clarify. So perfect. Hang on one sec. Let me just roll something here. Okay. As you go up and you test the door, you notice it's locked in. So you just like very fluidly crack it open, just large enough to slip yourself through. You enter in, your eyes take a moment to adjust, and it is cold in here, at least compared to outside. As your eyes do adjust, you notice there are bits of like purple light and some kind of strobing going on over there, and there's a disco ball turning, and there's some like rockabilly playing, and you can hear people laughing. You can hear the sound of some bowling balls rolling, the like tinking of bottles against one another. And you look up and you see you're kind of dropped down a little bit. It goes down,
Yep.
kind of ramp-like, and so you hunker down in this area that's maybe half your height, and you look and you see there's probably 6 or 7 people over there that are drinking, playing, like they're bowling, seem to be having a good time. What do you do?
Okay, so as far as, because me, Carly, I've been in multiple bowling alleys. So there's some where you can only get to that behind area like by going around the way that you came, but then for some there's access like between lanes. There's like a small access between lanes. Does this one have any access points between the lanes?
It does not look like the access is between lanes. However, you do see that there is another door nearby that leads back into that area. So you could get into that back area from here.
Okay, so you're saying there's a door that leads into the back area, or I can like continue down this like kind of open
Correct.
hallway to get into the. Okay, she's gonna duck into the back area.
Okay. As you duck around, you notice that the door once was attached and likely had a lock on it. It's since been ripped off. Leans against the wall nearby. You can hear the sounds of the pin reset like churning away. While you're doing that, Billy was not that far behind you, so what is Billy up to?
Nope.
I think Billy will. He wants to follow. He's probably gonna just have like a few very quick puffs of his cigarette, toss it on the ground, stamp it out, and then follow in right behind her.
I'm gonna have you do another Dex stealth to see if you can do so unseen.
All right. Single success on that.
Okay. Mari, as you disappear through this doorway, you see a fairly glaring strip of white light show up on the wall behind you. But whether or not anyone else saw that, let's see what the dice say. Hang on a second. As you step in, Billy, your eyes take a moment to adjust. You're kind of like trying to figure out if you should hunker down, if you should push yourself up against the wall. You know, you're trying to figure out the best way to do this unseen. And then you realize you're just kind of like standing in this slightly recessed area. And there are several people up there bowling. And one of them is lowering a Michelob Light, staring at you, kind of confused. What do you do?
I think Billy's going to try to play it cool, but he's also, so his goal is to try to act natural, but it's also to keep the attention on him so that it's not on Mari.
Okay.
And I think what he's going to do is he's going to sort of look up at them, give them like a half nod, and then light another cigarette and just stand there in the door.
Okay. Why don't we call this manipulation deception?
Okay.
Wait, deception is not the thing.
Subterfuge?
Subterfuge,
No.
thank you. I'm like, there's another word for it.
Okay. 3 successes.
Nice. You notice as the guy that was drinking the Michelob kind of reaches over to one of the nearby people and then kind of points at you, and about half the group, their attention kind of turns towards you. None of them rush you or anything like that, and it's fairly loud in here. It looks like maybe the guy who has the beer had said something to you, but you couldn't hear it. You seem to have their attention, though. Meanwhile, there's the sound of duct tape ripping, being stuck to skin, as this mostly unconscious human woman is secured.
Let's hide her behind the counter.
What's that?
Oh, I'm just saying, let's hide her behind the counter.
Gotcha. Yeah. So there's like a space in between the shoe counter and like the rack that holds all the shoes, and so you can easily slip her in there. However, you do notice as you get closer to it, you're getting more into the building, and there's people over there. You can't quite make them out, although Ray seems to be ducking. You're kind of going. You're already naturally lower. Ray is just energy. He's just kind of like bouncing at this point. D, what are you up to?
Does this place look like it's like, is there still stuff in here
Yeah, there's
other than the few lights that have been placed around and stuff? But like, are there shoes in the thing? Is there a cash register? Like, what's
Yeah, the shoes, it looks like... So imagine, like, for quite a while, people have come in here and used the place, and rather than, like, putting their shoes away, they just kind of, like, tossed them back on the counter or on the ground. So there's shoes kind of scattered everywhere. The arcade is actually still mostly there. You can see a space that has, like, indents on the floor that there was probably, like, some... It was a skee ball tape, or it was a ski... air hockey table. That's what I'm going for. Like, you can see where that was, but it's now gone. But, like, there's a Space Invaders game that's running. There's some pinball machines. So, yeah, there are things around.
and there's electricity?
There is, yeah. There's music playing. The AC's
not
running.
a generator that I've heard.
Yeah, it seems like it's running on electricity rather than a Jenny.
Okay. I'm gonna, while they're doing whatever they're doing, I'm keeping an eye on Raymond, but I am gonna call the company. I'm gonna call headquarters, call in,
Okay.
and see if they can't find out why this place, if it's supposed to be so closed down and a vampire hideout, why is there people here and like electricity off the grid, and who, you know, who's paying
Yeah.
for these sorts of things? Chase, follow the money to see if I can't figure out anything more.
So you pull out your phone and you look, and there's actually a missed call from Amelia. No message, just a missed call. Are you calling her, or are you calling like the number you dial to get a hold of on
Number
radio?
I dialed to get a hold of. This is in the middle of an operation,
Okay.
so I'm not gonna like call Amelia to have her talk to someone.
Totally. So you dial. It rings for a bit, which you're not used to. It usually picks up after like the second ring at most, and then like there's a chime. It says, "We're sorry, all representatives are currently occupied. Please leave a message, and we'll be back with you as soon as possible. Remember, your safety is of the utmost importance to us." Unreal.
I'll hang up.
Meanwhile, Ray's like stuffing this lady behind there. He's like, "You sure we shouldn't just stake her just to be sure?"
Jesus, man. What the fuck, man?
You said it just like immobilizes them, right?
I didn't say that.
No, that lady did. But like
Well,
that's
vampires, yeah.
right.
If it's a human, it'll kill it.
I mean, I guess that's a mobilization, but
Permanent immobilization.
that effect in Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm gonna try to roll behind the counter here. They might have a security system that's still active.
You do not see like a recorder, but you do see some monitors.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for is monitors, so I can like go over there and maybe see what all numbers and stuff.
Why don't we just do a roll of a D10?
Okay.
Let me know if you get odd or even.
Okay. Odd.
Odd. There is one monitor that is left working, kind of flickering. It's like one of those older. It's very heavy and has like the whole. I can't think of what they're called. Are they CRT monitors or is that?
Yeah, the old CRTs.
Right.
Cancer tubes.
And the other ones have kind of been smashed or kicked in, or it looks like they've been burned out at some point. But there's one that's kind of flickering that shows the front door.
Well, crap. Okay. I'm assuming we still have these earpieces. I'll call to Carly to Mari and Billy. Go, hey, I think there's more than one in here. We got some lady at the front door. It looks like it was working for them, but there's some voices and stuff in here. More than one.
Yeah, we're inside. Billy's been spotted. I'm behind the alleys. We spot. You say 7 or 9 people that I saw figures when I came.
7.
At least 7 others. Not sure on vampire.
You need a hand?
I think we're good for now.
Okay.
Stick with them.
It's about the time that he says, "Do you need a hand?" that you're looking around and you realize there are actually body parts kind of strewn around back here. In various states of decay. Most of them are older, but definitely is one of the more least clean feeding sites that you've seen.
I take out a mint and I put it in my mouth because I bet the smell is awful. No, I mean, like with that much decay,
right?
It's gonna stink, and you'll start tasting it.
Yeah.
And so she, like, that's her. That it also helps her focus away from it. Like, you know, it's a technique that a lot of people actually use. Like, pop it in, and it allows you to focus on what you need to focus and push the other details away. So she fully.
Now, is this like Tic Tac or is this like Altoid or stronger?
Oh no, this is like the lifesaver mints. Like
okay,
the white.
Yeah.
So they last a while. They're
Fair
not
enough.
like
Fair enough.
2 seconds and gone.
So
I really like the idea of Peter like Pavloving everyone to like eat mitts around things.
he has stock in like lifesavers or something. So are you kind of staying where you are? Or are you moving deeper in?
So what is this? You said there's a bunch of body parts. This is the access to the lanes, the back of the lanes.
Yeah, so it looks like looks like there's a long hallway, and on one side it would be your left. You can see the various return areas and the mechanical things that come down from that. On the right, you can see some tools and stuff, but you also notice there are large crates kind of spaced around the back of this. Doesn't look like there's this area isn't too in-depth as far as having multiple, there's no other doors and stuff like that. You can see pipes coming down from the ceiling that are for like fire suppression and probably gas line and stuff like that. But you don't see any people that are still whole.
Are all the lanes running, or are there any open lanes?
Now, there's most of the ones next to you are actually off. Looking down, there's probably 7 between you and the first one that's running, and then there's like 4 of them that are running.
And do all the ones that are not running, are the pins set, or are they open? Like I'd be able to like slip through that gate if I needed to.
They're in various states. There are definitely areas you could slip through. Yeah.
Okay. She's gonna keep an eye, like just through the pens and on what's happening over there. But she's gonna check out these crates.
Okay. While you're checking the crates out, standing in front of the back door, former Detective Billy Gray, what are you up to? It looks like the one with the Michelob has kind of like started heading your way, but it looks like they're just kind of like eyeing you. Like maybe this is the first time somebody's just walked into this building. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. Can you describe the fellow who's heading my way?
Sure. He actually not like looking in a mirror, but he very stylishly is very similar to what you're wearing. He's got like jeans on, some worn like cons. He has some pretty hefty jewelry going on, and he's got his hair cut real short. It's a little hard to tell in the lighting what color it is, but it's darker. You do notice that his clothing is rather stained, however.
Okay. Is there, I'm going to say, like an obvious hierarchy in the way that he behaves versus the other two, or is that unclear?
Go ahead and make a insight and wits.
Okay. Do 5 successes.
Wow, nice. Yeah, you get the feeling that he is, if not the leader of this group, they all have kind of deferred to him. There's certain body languages there, and he's definitely kind of like puffed out his chest and is heading towards you.
Okay, I think I'm going to take this opportunity to have the leisurely cigarette that my previous cigarette was not, but just sort of puffing on that, keeping the attention on me, hopefully making it easier for other people to move around, and waiting for this peacock to come talk to me.
As he gets closer, you realize that his hair is actually kind of dyed dark purple, and he grins at you, and there's a cold pit that kind of grows in your stomach because he has fangs. He's like, yeah, sorry, private party.
So he's made it down to me.
Yeah. He's not within, you couldn't reach out and touch him. He kind of moves, we'll say like 10 feet away from you and stops.
So I'd say, sorry to intrude. I'm new in town, and I got direction that I should come here first.
His eyebrow kind of quirks up. You realize there's like a piercing through it, but it's so dark it kind of matches the purple of his dye job. I feel like I want you to roll for this, but I can't. I'm not sure if it's going to be like subterfuge or just persuasion. What would be your argument?
I think subterfuge. I'm
Okay.
not trying to get him to do anything, just as sort of trying to act as if I belong when
Mhm.
I don't.
Yeah, go ahead. Do manipulation, subterfuge.
Okay. I am actually pretty damn good at this.
I'm not.
7
Why I'm good
successes.
at stealth.
7 successes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do I get to use any of these advantages that are in our pool?
I don't know. I didn't see any given to you except for the one that
right.
Well, I mean, the ones did say for anyone. They
True,
didn't say
true.
for anyone but the DM.
So I technically got 2 because I got a crit. However, your 7 completely obliterates this guy's roll. He kind of nods for a moment. There's like some, you can see the thought process going through his mind. He steps forward and he puts his hand on your shoulder, like right in that corner where your neck meets your shoulder, and he kind of like squeezes some. His hand's very warm, and he kind of starts like nodding and smiling. He's like, "Yeah, come on up."
I follow him.
Okay.
Is this conversation something that the rest of the team could have heard over our comms devices?
So Diego, they got the stuff from you in Onryo. Do you think that this is a kind of tech that you can hear what's going on around them, or is it a direct communication only?
I think that it would probably be something that it could pick up something around, but probably by default there's noise canceling
Right.
enabled, so it would be pretty hard to hear.
So like voices
it
might
would-
be picked up, but they might be muffled. However, the constant churning of the mechanisms that are going on in the bowling alley aren't drowning things out. So yeah, I feel like everyone can hear to an extent.
Or like at least my side of the conversation?
Definitely your side.
Definitely can hear
Yeah.
your side, and probably like, how noise it's like words here and there,
Yeah,
or like
maybe a little
garbled.
choppy.
Yeah.
So as you
Where are we going?
we're having a party. As you're heading that way, Diego, you're up front. You're keeping an eye on Ray. You're seeing what's going on. You've caught sight of a couple of heads. Kind of, the bowling alley itself, like the lanes are dropped down a little, and so you're elevated a little out of sight from them, and in return they're a little out of sight from you, but you've peered over. You can kind of see, you've counted several heads. You were told there were 7 people, so you're pretty sure where everyone is. You hear this conversation going on. Peter, you hear this conversation going on. You haven't really been able to catch sight of them. You're trying to stay low, and you're not in a good angle to see all of this. What do the two of you do?
Well, since he seems like he's going with the plan he spoke about before, I'm going to stay hidden and just get ready to fire if things hit the fan.
Okay.
I will go over to go to Ray like, hey, I think Billy might try to bring you outside or bring someone outside to you here before too awful long. If you can sneak back out quietly.
But if they're a vampire and it's daylight, won't they just turn to ash or
That's why I
something?
said shortly. Probably not right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just why don't we do a persuasion against his
Bloodlust?
His willpower.
I'm like, what do I even
willpower?
want to call this?
I mean, I think it would
Resolve.
normally be against his willpower, composure, resolve.
Yeah.
Would it be
Mm,
manipulation?
yeah, so manipulation, persuasion.
Okay. Let's see. All right, so only 3 dice.
You say you got only 3 dice that you're
1
rolling?
success.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He also got 1 success, so he kind of thinks about it for a moment, and you see him kind of nod and seems thoughtful, and he kind of crouches and backs out of where you are, and you lose sight of him. You think he's
Okay.
heading towards the front door. I guess we'll see.
I am going to unclip a flashbang
Okay.
and stay hidden.
Okay.
And also trying to get distance from like everyone. I'm very spooked suddenly, not because of what's going on here, but because of the failure to answer the phone call.
Okay.
And feeling like potentially maybe something much bigger has gone wrong. So yeah.
Okay. So as the two of you kind of hunker down and wait to see what's happening, Carly in the back, Mari can hear that conversation as you creep towards the first of these crates. The crate is about 7, maybe 8 feet long, 4 feet tall or so. It's kind of as though you took, sheets of plywood and made a crate out of it. There is a certain odor to them, or at least to the one that you're getting closer. It's not.
Okay. So is there coffin lore with these vampires?
I mean, of course, there's coffin lore.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of what she knows. Like,
Yeah.
Like, is
What
are
do we
like
do? Intelligence, occult.
I'm guessing my library edge would not help me in this case because that's for finding information.
I will. I'll let you have it because you've looked these things up. If it was anything but vampires, I would say probably not. But like, again, this area is it's all the damn vampires. So
3 successes.
okay, you do think that it is at least an option, especially for weaker vampires. It might not carry through to stronger vampires, more ancient vampires, but there is a certain truth to myth in that case that they sleep in coffins or some kind of receptacle. And I will say that
Well,
some
it's just like a thought on her mind. She's still gonna open it up,
yeah.
and she's like fully focusing on the mint because there was that weird scent.
Odd
I don't
or
think she
even.
recognized the scent, did she?
It didn't smell like the kind of putrefaction that you've been moving through, but the mint is kind of overpowering things. Odd or even?
Odd.
All right, so sorry, excuse me.
There's
you
a
kind of-
vampire inside.
Pry it open, you do see bedding inside. There is like well-used, like cushioning. It doesn't look like high grade or anything like that. It looks kind of like those foam egg crate things. They're just kind of spread out with blankets on top and a pillow. Nothing's inside though. Besides that.
How are these crates like positioned?
They're kind of spaced down the hallway, but they don't seem to have like any specific point of their arrangement. Like they're just kind of this one happens to be sitting mostly perpendicular to the hallway, so it's kind of like blocking a large portion of it. A couple of them are kind of askew. One of them is more parallel. One of them is actually like kind of set up and leaning against the back wall.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's gonna move carefully through the crates and check them. But she's gonna be very careful about like trying to see if there's any indications of somebody being inside one of them before she
Okay.
opens
As you
it up to look inside.
as you continue down this hall and are checking in the crates, you notice that at the far end of the hall there's another door similar to the one that you came in, that they can probably, like, you could have entered in from the far side of all of this as well. And near that is another of these crates that is set completely upright. So it's taller than it is wide, the way that it looks. And it's not until you get down to that one that you feel the cold that is slightly stronger than the air conditioning that's pumping through the building. It's more of like a sensation that makes your skin crawl.
Does it seem to be coming from the crate or from inside the crate? Can I tell?
I will have you do an awareness check on that one. So let's do wits awareness.
Okay. I'm gonna use one of the
Auto successes.
yeah, auto.
Sure.
So that'll be 3 successes total with the auto success.
It's definitely emanating from the crate, but you don't think it is the crate itself. There's nothing about the crate that sets it apart from the others. Something within it is giving you a creepy vibe.
Yeah, so she's not gonna open that one, but you keep that in mind because she has an evil plot for, you know, if stuff happens or they're leaving, to magnesium the crate and the person that's inside.
Okay.
Because that's kind of what this is built for. Like, the magnesium is not really a combat thing because that would put herself in danger. It's
Right.
more of a sneak in and
Totally.
kill somebody thing. So, but you will try to sneak past it to the other door. Does the other door seem like it's going to be attached to the new addition?
It does not. It just goes back out into the far end of the bowling alley. It doesn't look like there was any... From where you are, there's no door into that other addition. You do
does
notice that this door is
it just
attached
leads out
still.
to another alley?
Correct. So like that little like kind of ramp
Walk
that
by.
came down. Yeah, absolutely.
And is this side closer to where the lanes that they're using, or is the
It
other
is.
side closer?
It is. Yeah, they're kind of in the middle, but it was closer to this side than the others. And as you're kind of like looking through, you actually notice Billy is walking up to the group with another fellow who's dressed kind of similarly, but much less hygienically. As Billy is taking the last puff of this cigarette, this fellow is all like, "Hey, so yeah, like, I'm Armand. This is my crew. Who sent you?"
This guy Alex out of Reno.
Alex from Reno. Doesn't ring a bell. But yeah, I don't own the place. I'm just kind of squatting here right now.
Anyway.
This is Lisa. That's Tiffany over there. This is Bro. He just is introducing you around. A lot of the people are just kind of not congenial, but they're like, hey, what's up? And then they go back to bowling or drinking and talking. A couple of them keep their eye on you, but no one has been like super friendly.
Is there I figure a bunch of them are looking at me. Are there any that seem like they not to put too fine a point on it, but seem like they like what they see?
Okay.
Billy does have the beautiful trait or perk or whatever.
Wonderful. I love it.
And might be an opportunity to flirt a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So do a wits awareness for me.
Okay.
Tell me what beautiful gives you when you have a chance.
Okay.
Now we know.
I am stunning, just so you know.
I add 1 extra die to all appropriate social dice pools.
Okay.
I add 2,
Are you
which is good
attempting?
because she's really bad at it.
Are you attempting to be beautiful at the moment, or are you attempting to kind of be nonchalant?
No, I'm definitely trying to look good and, maybe flash a wink or a wave or something
Sure.
like that if someone looks like they might want to come over and say hello.
Well, then let's do a charisma. I don't think etiquette is the right thing here. Performance? If you're trying to kind of peacock it up? Unless
We
you have an
can-
argument for something else?
I don't know. I would have. I don't know.
Like, I guess
Performance is not something that I'm very good at. Subterfuge is.
I feel like persuasion would work.
Okay.
If you tell me why subterfuge? If
No,
it's
let's do the. It's weaker dice, but I'll use the extra one from beautiful, and we'll do
Okay.
charisma persuasion. So that would be 1 success, and then are there resources from chat that I could use to
there
help that
are,
out?
yeah, you want an
Yeah.
auto success
Got
on
a
top of that?
bunch.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll burn
Okay.
one of those.
So it gives you 4?
That would give me 2 successes.
Oh, 2 successes. Sorry, I misheard. So you do catch that Tiffany kind of like eyes you, but as like Bro comes up and like gives you a really strong handshake, it lingers there for a moment. And he just kind of like stares at you, but not in like an aggressive, maybe an aggressive way, but not in a mean aggressive kind of way. You definitely get the feeling that this is a person that knows what he likes, and he might dislike you.
Billy is going to, I'm going to say, pretty immediately shift in demeanor a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit more of like a passive or a submissive side, at
Okay.
least like compared to what Mari or Peter or things like that sort of usually see. But he's going to be like, asking Bro, so like, your name's Bro, huh? Like, tell me about this party, like, trying to express interest in this guy,
Right.
and learn more about him.
So as you're talking to him, first of all, he's pretty large. Like he has a good 4 or 5 inches above you. And whereas you're muscular, but you're like kind of like lithe. You're not brawny. He is brawny. He definitely like body builds, and he's actually pretty tan. You get the feeling he might be. He might have one time at least been like one of those beach bodybuilders. Like there's like a certain smell of coconut oil, sunscreen that comes off of him. You notice as he smiles at you, he also has fangs, but they're like bright silver. And you're starting to realize that they are not, like, as he shakes your hand, he's very warm also. These are not real fangs. They have like either the stick-in kind, or they've had like the surgically
The
implanted
enamels.
kind. What's that?
The enamels.
Right. He does, as you're looking, he has like a button up or button down short sleeve shirt. Has like, it's black on top with red flames that come up, and you notice that he has a collar, and sticking out from that top button area, the collar has a word, it says top. And he's wearing like some faded blue jeans and some combat boots. He says, "Oh yeah, we're just hanging out till." He stops for a moment and looks around. We usually party until the sun goes down, and then kind of go from there and see where the night takes us. How about you? You got here just in time, I guess.
I mean, that sounds good to me. You got anything to drink?
He gestures back. You see a large cooler that's filled with ice and nothing but Michelob Light. We're not sponsored by Michelob Light, but we're gonna beat the Michelob Light train to death. And he gestures for you to have one.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Oh, and my name's not really bro, it's Tim, but everyone calls me bro.
What would you like me to call you?
Whatever you'd like.
You got it, bro.
And he kind of puts his hand like in the small of your back and like guides you over to sit down to watch the people bowling. From the top. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Mari, after seeing the other side, that was just like another walkway, is going to find a point that she can duck down. That if there's a place that will allow her to be out of sight from both doors, and the upright crate.
Gotcha.
But quick enough access to try and like slip through a gate if she needs to like run up the lanes. To
Sure.
provide backup.
So it's hard to find a place where you're out of sight of like everything, but you kind of like,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well actually if I go over to this crate and I just kind of move this chair here, this chair will give me mostly cover from that side, and this crate will keep me from being seen by that stand-up crate. So you do find like kind of a makeshift hiding spot.
And when she does, she's going to whisper through the comms and be like, I don't know what you guys have found, but
A date.
there's what I am 90% sure is a vampire in a crate, stand-up crate coffin. Probably pretty powerful based on the goosebumps that are given when close, and probably going to come out when the sun comes down.
Are you in a safe spot?
I'm in the back. About how far away am I from his crate?
just kind of eyeballing it, you're probably 20, 25 feet away.
About 20 feet from his crate, hidden from his view, and have good access to provide backup to the lanes that needed.
Everyone hears in their ear, I'm on my way.
Not what I wanted, but okay.
Looking at the time, like, how long do we think till we have till sundown?
Probably 45 minutes. I guess it depends on what you think sundown is. Do you mean like darkness or the sun disappearing enough from the sky?
Well, so we don't know probably like how vampires, their nocturnal nature or whatever.
Right.
I'm just guessing the, darkness, enough that
Darkness is probably 45 minutes away.
Okay.
He's really struggling because on one hand, he doesn't really want Ray just to like, I don't know, do whatever he's doing. But on the other hand, he has a real hard time trusting a middle school teacher that is rating the power of vampires based upon goosebump level. It feels so amateur to him. So he's like,
I love it.
what do I do?
Look, she's not. I don't think she's been in contact with many vampires that radiated that much cold themselves.
I dude has no idea what
yes,
vampires
I know.
do.
I
So
understand. I understand that D
"This
has
is your
no idea,
measurement
but
scale?"
like,
Now my question
like,
is,
that's a...
when you rated it on goosebump level, is it like the goosebumps you're feeling, or is this like a middle school goosebumps novel like R.L. Stein level of vampire?
I think the people that know her would know that she has never once, in context to vampires, mentioned them giving her goosebumps.
Totally.
If she's ever talked about her inciting incident, that is probably the only other incident that has given her this level of unease.
And Billy and Peter have seen that Mari is pretty like gung-ho, like last night when you were fighting the vampires, just went right after that one, chased it down, set it on fire.
Yep.
No blinking. So the goosebump level is interesting to you.
I think that's a pretty high indicator, I think, for Peter and Billy. Obviously not for Diego or Ray, they have no idea, but for Peter and Billy, that's a pretty big like red flag.
Right. So Ryan, D notices just the barest flash of light as the front door opens and closes.
Okay.
And you had seen Ray moving that direction, just to make sure you understood.
Yeah. I'm gonna move to a better vantage point.
Hey, Billy, call if you feel like you're unsafe right now.
Billy is very much trying to talk up Tim and see where the best places to work out and to dance are around here.
Gotcha. As he's having this conversation with you, a kind of smaller, very dark-haired, very pale, gothy-looking girl heads up. She was pretty sure that was Tiffany. Bro, have you seen Zelda? She went out to grab a bite to eat or something, but I didn't think she'd take this long. And he's like, no, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. She's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I might go check on her just to make sure. She was just running across. I mean, I guess it's not right across the street. She was going over to, I don't know what restaurants are out in California. She's going to freaking In-N-Out. She's going to In-N-Out.
I don't know that there's that many In-N-Outs in Santa Cruz.
They're everywhere. There's one on every corner.
They are, but Santa Cruz is not the kind of California town that would have a lot. They would have like maybe one next to the freeway.
There's actually
It's
like
not-
a Starbucks and
Yeah.
or In and Out in the same building on every corner.
No, it's like
this
Fort
area.
Collins. It's very much like Fort Collins or Boulder. So
So
There's not. I'm just gonna tell you. There's not a lot of. There's like maybe one In and Out in Santa Cruz.
she's
Maybe
heading
one.
to some.
McDonald's,
McDonald's,
Burger
yeah.
Pizza
King,
Hut.
Carl's Jr. Those are gonna be your Wendy's.
I'm just gonna
Those are
run
gonna be
outside
your
real
big
quick.
hitters.
And
Does Zelda flake a lot? Do you think she'd ditch?
no,
No?
she just kind of eyes you, like raises her eyebrow judgingly at you.
Shit, I don't know her.
I don't know you.
Wow, there's actually 6.
In and Outs.
Yeah, I was just checking.
So
Yeah, are they all near the freeway though?
you do
Yeah.
hear, those of you who are up front, you do
Mostly.
hear this conversation. You do know that this girl is heading towards you as she leaves the group and starts heading up. Ryan, you can see as she steps between, they're like racks that have the bowling balls. They're like old wooden shelves. They're not, you can't see through them. They essentially make like a half wall that goes down there just before you go step down into the bowling alley area. She is backlit by this strobing light above her, and then she walks towards you. You were trying to stay hidden, so why don't you do a stealth dex for me?
I will use an automatic success. And I got 5 successes with the automatic.
Nice.
You're looking around, there's nowhere for you to hide at all. And so you just stand there, and she walks right past you with her 0 successes.
I'm going to as soon as she passes, I'm gonna try and like knock her out.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
hit her right here.
Yeah, go ahead and do a, we'll call that strength brawl.
That's what I'm
2
good
successes.
You said 2 successes?
hmm
And do you want to use any of those points?
Yeah, I'll use another one.
Okay.
So that's 2, 3
Um,
that I missed.
The sudden movement, it's almost like there's something that caused her to be aware of you, and she just starts turning her head as you like clock her right in that like bone area right at the base of her skull, and she just drops. What do you do?
Move her towards the wall.
Okay.
Zip tie her. And move over 5 feet so I could do it again. I don't know, like video games.
Okay.
Hey, Billy, do you think you can get these guys talking about what happens at when the sun goes down to see if they're idiots here that are going to be food, or are they actually, groupies of this vampire?
So I think I'll give that a shot as Billy. I think he's trying to probably asking Bro, sort of treating him as his adopted guide or authority figure
Right.
here. Saying about how I think this might be a little bit different than it was in Reno. Sometimes it got nutty after dark, but what's it like here when you guys are ready to get going?
Oh, yeah, so he seems a little like uncertain of what to say, and I guess how to say it. And he eyes, now I forgot his name, the first guy. that looks kind of like you. And then just kind of leans in down to you. So, we really tried not to shit where we eat, but it obviously is not always the case. But I think, at least with, tonight, we'll probably be going elsewhere. And sometimes the party gets brought back here, but it's really best if we don't. I don't know if that's the way that you do it.
I mean, when in Rome, I don't mind the idea of following you.
I mean, I'm down with that.
So is there someone here that you're following? Who are we waiting for? Who's the MC?
You do catch his glance at the bowling lanes, and it connects in your mind. He's glancing back at essentially the area behind the end of the lanes, back where Mari is currently hiding. I guess I don't really feel comfortable. I don't really know you that well yet. I'm not gonna. I'll let him introduce himself.
Ooh, mysterious. You've got me excited.
He winks at you. As everyone's kind of hunkering down, Ed, Billy notices the faintest strip of sunlight appear back in the door that you came through. I am going to use... Sorry, Sid is going to use one of his auto successes
Okay.
to get in unseen by the group.
Well, there goes all of Kurt's that he added.
And then, Mari, you hear some crunching footsteps. And you kind of glance towards the door. You feel hidden from that door, but you kind of peer around and you see Ray stepping in. He's got his knife in one hand. He's looking around, kind of squinting. And he walks up to the first crate. He rips it open.
She just whispers under her breath, just like, Ray, what are you doing?
What?
So that he can hear it in his
Yeah, he says, what?
earpiece.
You're quiet. Why are you so quiet?
Do it. You should be quiet.
Are you? Oh, that's right. He looks around. Looks like he's trying to find you.
I'm not moving from my position.
I'm gonna give him a roll to see. I
Do
don't
you need
think.
Do you need me to make a roll?
No, he can't even hit. It was based on your previous success. He looks around. He actually walks right by you, and he's kind of creeping now. He is being quiet. And as he steps by you, you hear this
Like a crate opening.
and you just glance over and then duck down because the door into the crate is open and there's a hand that has pushed it. The hand is extraordinarily long and misshapen. Its knuckles swollen, talons for fingernails, the flesh on it much paler and bluer than it should be. The arm that is attached to the hand seems to stretch out kind of unnaturally long as the hand wraps around the door and continues to set it open.
Mari whispers deathly quiet under her breath. We have contact. I am currently providing backup to Ray. I don't think this is going to go well.
We have contact. I'm out. Bye. I've got class tomorrow.
I didn't say I was leaving. That's like the exact opposite of who Mari is.
I have to go grade some paper. Shit.
Right? And with that, we're going to call it for this week. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody for
You
coming to
just
play tonight.
snuck a damn super powerful vampire on us on this stupid thing. She told you we should have scouted first, but nobody wanted to listen.
I'm sure it's going to be fine, right?
I mean, she's more angry at Ray at this point, but you know.
Excuse me. Raven, I agree. I hope it's not another month again. I hope in 2 weeks from tonight, you will all join us again for another episode of Hunter Bad Blood. Hopefully no one will get sick and life doesn't throw any wrenches like stupid internet outages and stuff. Thanks everybody so much for hanging out tonight and watching, and thank you to the crew for playing tonight. Why don't we do some outros? Just do a quick who you are and who you played, and then if you do have stuff coming up, I would love to hear about it, and I would love you to share it with the public. So go for it. Let's start with Ed this time.
Yeah, my name's Ed. I play or stream occasionally as Neuromaster on Twitch. This evening I played Billy. Had a great time with y'all. Looking forward to it when we resume 2 weeks from now. Carly, how about you?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Carly. You can find me at Armadillo Dice or at Carly Steichen. I make dice, and I played Mari Griff, our middle school teacher badass that our spook has currently not learned to respect, but he will. On that note, we'll head over to said spook. Ryan.
Yeah, I'm Ryan. I played D, the spook, Diego, and I don't know. He is learning more and more about this group, and it's been fun to explore him with you. Go ahead, Jason.
All right. As mentioned, I'm Jason. I've been playing Peter. A little paranoid, little fun, not so useful in combat, but that's okay.
I don't know.
Had a lot of fun.
Episode 1 completely derails that, but that is neither here nor there. Please
My
continue.
Play-Doh will scare them away.
That's right.
And I think Jeremy's been watching Salem's Lot lately with that description.
I actually need to watch the new one that apparently just released on HBO Max, so I'm looking forward
Nice.
to that. I'm Jeremy. You can find me here. This is my channel, and you can also find me over on social medias at WH Pubs. If you want to know what is going on, either follow on those social medias, or you can head over to whpublications.com. I can spell calendar. There we go. /events, and subscribe to the calendar that's over there. It'll get added to whatever calendar it is that you want to use, whether it's Google Calendar or that's the only one that I can never remember. And it just auto adds those things that are coming up so you can see what we have going on. We are going to raid, so please hang out for that as we tune out for tonight. But thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, and good to see you. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Another fun night at Wanderer's Shaven.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Smooth as a baby's butt. Bye.